I want to clarify the terms western facing and eastern facing when people talk about stitch facings or stitch mounts. This is a knit stitch that happens to be left facing or western. The left leg of the stitch is on the back of the needle and the right leg is towards the front of the needle. And that was a knit stitch. Here's a purl stitch that's the same way. The left leg is on the back of the needle, the right leg is on the front of the needle. If you are following Western knitting directions, in other words, knitting directions written in Western Europe or written in North America, those types of directions tend to assume that all of your stitches are facing west or left. And by west I mean if you think of a compass, north, south, east, or west, left and west are the same direction. So those Western knitting directions assume that all of your stitches are mounted this way and facing west unless you have done something to change them, such as slipping them knitwise. So those are Western mounted stitches. Eastern mounted stitches, as you can see, here's an Eastern mounted knit stitch. The left leg is on the front of the needle and the right leg is on the back of the needle. And let me show you a purl stitch. Again, the left leg is to the front and the right leg is to the back. There is a technique called Eastern uncrossed knitting or combination knitting, and this technique is often practiced by Russian knitters or Eastern European knitters, and they will have stitches mounted both ways on their needles, and then they just work them as they need to keep them open. So these stitches facing right, I might also refer to them as facing east. So these are Eastern facing stitches, these are Western facing stitches, and they're both quite workable, and if you happen to see those terms in my knitting patterns, that's what I mean.